Welcome back to another episode of Building Our SaaS Business in Public. I'm Ben, and this is my co-founder, Tyler. And we are the co-founders of Masset.ai. And we're building our company in public. We're trying to share as much information as possible about who we are, what the business does, what we care about, all that kind of fun stuff. And we love video and are shooting these weekly installments to let you know more about the business. So Tyler and I usually have a little fight about whoever goes first. Did you go first last time or did I?
I don't remember. I can go first this time. I might ramble a little bit this time, but
I
can
love
go
it.
first.
Yeah, you go for it. I love it.
Yeah. So status update this week is most of my time was spent doing pen test remediation. So for our listeners that may not know what that is as we are pushing towards SOC 2, it's not certification, it's not compliance, it's SOC 2 achievement. You get a SOC 2 report, right? That reports on your controls. As we push towards that, you do a lot of security testing and a lot of security controls. So we had our pen test done earlier this month, and we had a few items come out of that, and got to work on those this week. And security is something we take pretty seriously. So we made an effort to get that all done and get that done wrapped up this week. We didn't really have any big issues. Like most of the stuff was pretty good. I think we came up with a pretty clean bill of health, but even the small stuff you want to make sure you take care of. But the fun anecdote this week is, because of that, we were making some security updates, and maybe we shouldn't make this public, but this is real life of startup founders here, right? We had our first real downtime this week. I think it's fair to call it downtime that we had. So we had one of the items, we don't have to get all technical, but one of the items was around how we manage our sessions and our cookies. And so whenever you log into an application, they put a little cookie on your computer. Everybody knows what a cookie is because they're in modern vernacular. And there's a bunch of security settings around that, and like how they can interact with the browser, how they can't, all that fun stuff. And we had to tweak a little bit of that for our pen test remediation. And I decided I was going to do it, and I tested it all and got it all locally and tested it in our staging environment, and then said, okay, normally we do most of our releases after hours, and this was about 4:30 in the afternoon. So I was like, we're close enough to after hours. Let's go ahead and do it. Because I had tested everything. I had a lot of testing on it, but then it took out our login. So people that didn't have logins or weren't able to log in. And so people weren't able to log in. I think ended up being about 35 minutes, right? But that's real life, right? Like, I think that's actually pretty good, but it just goes you to show that despite best efforts, despite unit integration, it's testing and staging, sometimes things get through, right? And so startup founders, if your application is breaking and falling apart and exploding, it happens to the best of us. So just sometimes things happen, but that was a fun experience this week. It was the first, as a CTO, oh crap, everything is down for our users, like anxiety. I haven't felt that for a while. It was a refresher course in having that. So that was a fun experience this week, but we got everything back up and running. Appreciate everybody's patience. If you were one of the people that tried to log in during that 35 minutes and weren't able to, if you are one of our customers as part of our SOC 2 compliance, we do have a status page that provides updates when we do go down. So status.getmasset.com does talk about that, and it sends notifications when things happen like that. You will probably go 18 months before you see another one of those happen, but if you need to, you can go there and do it. So that was a fun anecdote from the technical side of things this week. But we're moving on to hopefully back to HubSpot integration stuff next week.
I love it. That's awesome. On my side of things, honestly, I'll share a little bit about what happened today, my day today, because this is kind of like the example of a typical day for everything going on. But one of the big updates is we've reached a point where we are actively hiring for SDRs, BDRs, whatever you want to call it. I don't know why Utah likes the term SDR versus BDR. I don't know the difference. I know some people care, but I don't. But we're actively hiring for that role. So I have spent a lot of my time actively interviewing people in this space. We've looked at comp structures, try to figure out all sorts of stuff here. So I've spent a lot of my time doing that. But even today, in between, getting a signed contract in the door and trying to get onboarding scheduled, training call as we're onboarding another one of our bigger customers, providing them, training materials and things like that in video format, updating the website as always to make it better and work on that front. Talked with people trying to sell us on their services. Obviously, if you post a listing online that you're
We
hiring
posted
for
on LinkedIn,
literally
so
anything,
yeah,
right?
you post on LinkedIn that you need something. There's a million people that are willing to help you get it. So
Oh yeah, as soon as we ever post our first opening for like more developers, Tyler's going to be hit up by so many people saying, "Hey,
I
here's
already
all the
am. It'll be
services
even
we can do,
more.
all that stuff." Yeah, it's true. But on this BDR front, like we got a lot of hit ups from people, and good for them. Like this is signal based selling. There's a relevancy
Yeah.
there. One of their outreaches, honestly, I was impressed with, and I actually took the phone call today, and I'm going to explore some of that further, but we're looking at the in-house route kind of as the primary route, and we'll see how that goes. But have some really good candidates in the pipeline. I sent like a dozen text messages to people I know, just asking if they have referrals of people that are SDRs looking in the space and all that kind of stuff. So that's been good. So that's kind of my typical, like that's what's happened this week is we've been signing on contracts, doing demonstrations, doing my own lead generation, set multiple demos today, doing all that kind of fun stuff while still supporting our wonderful customers and hiring all at the same time. Like that's kind of the typical MO. I think I had 12 meetings today between everything, and that's because one meeting got pushed to next week. And so it would have been 13.
It's all worth it though. I
So,
mean, as we're talking, you said we are signing contracts today and we have a notification. Anybody that is starting a startup should have this. It's like the best boost ever. We have a notification anytime we receive a payment from a customer. So we just got a notification from a new customer that just paid while we're recording. So,
oh, we did?
hey, yeah, we just got it. So, hey, signing contracts, getting paid while podcasting. It's the life.
Yeah, it's good stuff right there. I love that. Yeah, that Stripe integration with Slack is pretty slick. So do that
Yeah.
integration and figure out if you're getting paid.
Then make sure you go and add the fire emoji every time it happens. You got to add the fire
Yeah, the
emoji.
celebration and fire. And yeah, what's nice is we're at the point where, we'll get quite a few of those notifications now. And
Yeah,
at some
they're a
point in
pretty
time in the
steady
future, we're
stream
going to have to
now.
turn that off.
Still a positive stream right now. It's getting to the point though it might need to turn it off here pretty quick.
Yeah,
But
exactly. That's why I have some notifications turned off. Too many notifications, but it's been good stuff, and something else Tyler was doing again in between stuff. We have customer requests all the time and working on those. It's kind of fun to see those come through the door, and we're cranking away. But I'd say the big things we're doing right now is the BDR motion. We're hiring for
yeah,
that. And we've got SOC 2 coming soon. We've got the HubSpot coming very, very soon. And then next up is Salesforce integration, which is really,
yep.
really cool. And just continuing to crank away. We've got some big deals in the works and great companies we're working with. And, and my son outside the door is yelling and screaming with his friend, which is awesome. So,
Hey, it's the first time for everything. First outage this week. First interruption by kids on our podcast. It's a week of
on this
first
podcast,
on this podcast.
the kids screaming in the background it's a constant for me when
That's
they're not
his,
in school. I have one kid that still goes to preschool, and he and his little friend just love to scream. And honestly, more power to you. Like I don't. What I am grateful for is that no one cares about that anymore.
yeah. It's nice that we've evolved past that. Cool. Well, I think that's it for this week. Yeah, short
Keep it
one, right?
short. Yeah, awesome. Well, Tyler, have a good one, and anyone listening, have a great week.
We'll catch you next week.